Welcome to the Collab Lab tutorial of Adobe InDesign. So once you have InDesign open, you can go ahead and come over here to Create New. And there might be some presets already if you go into like print and stuff, but the first thing that we're going to want to do is change the units over here to inches. The default is 8.5 by 11. And you can make it portrait or landscape right here. You can also add more pages. You can type in as many pages as you'd like. And you can also change the dimensions. So if you need 11 by 17, you can just type that in. And again, you can change it to portrait or landscape right here. For now, we're gonna put it at 8.5 by 11 and keep it portrait with one page. So then you go ahead and you click Create, and InDesign will create the document for you. You should see these rulers up here. If you don't, you can right click on the open workspace and then go to hide rulers or show rulers, depending on if your rulers are there or not. And then also up in the view panel, there is an option for display performance, and before you save, you want to make sure that it is on high quality display. So to insert an image, you'll come up to File, Place, and then navigate to where your image is at. Mine's on the desktop, and then you click on your image and click Open. It will give you a preview of what your image is, and to place it, just click and drag to how big you want your image to be, and then it will appear. All you have to do is click and drag to move it around. If you want to add text onto your page, you come over to this T, and this is the type tool. You click that, and then you can click and drag to make a text box, and these little arrows that pop up are little guides to help you. Like, this means that it's the same length as the image, and then this green line over here tells you that it's in line with the edge of the image. So in this text box, you can type anything that you want. If you select the text, you can come over here and you can change your font just like you can in Word. So you can make it a different font, you can make it italics or bold, you can change the size of it, you can make it center aligned, you can justify it right or left, and then you can justify it in a bunch of different ways with the final line. If you want to change the color of the text, you come up here to Appearance, and you double click, and then you double click on this T, and it opens up this color wheel. So you can drag it around to find different colors, and then this makes it lighter or darker. So if you want white, it's there, and if you want black, it's down there. So let's go ahead and make the text orange. If you want to use a color from inside your image, you click and hold on this little eyedropper, and then you can come over and select a color inside of your image. And then you just click OK, and it changes the color of the type. If you can't find any of the tables like this, you can come up to Window, and then they will all be listed in here. So make sure that you have the Properties one selected, and you'll also probably want Tools and Layers. And we'll also make sure that we have links up. So let's say you want to create a border. This pink and purple line right here does not print on your image. It is just a border line for you. So if you want to put an actual border, you'll come over to the rectangle tool, which is just this shaded square right here, and then click and drag over where you want your border to be, and it will put a box in. To change the color of your border, come over here to stroke, double click, and then double click again, and that opens up that box again. You can use the eyedropper tool if you want, or you can just select a color. You can also make the border bigger or smaller over here, and you can also change the style of it. In this rectangle tool, if you click and hold, you'll find that there's also a circle and a polygon, and those work the same way that the rectangle does. If you want to put an image down in here, but you want to plan it out first, you can come over here to the frame tool, and this allows you to click and drag and create an image frame, and it puts these X's over it. And then if you come over to import file and you select your image, it will place the image inside that frame for you. But let's say you want to change the layout of this. If you come up to this second selection tool, this allows you to see where your image is at, and if you hold shift while you click it, click and drag, it scales the image down and you can fit it inside the frame. So this dark orange line is your image, and this blue line, when you are in the first selection tool, is your frame. And if you want to move them both at the same time, you'll hold Command and Shift while you click and drag, and that will change both the image and the frame at the same time. Over here in the Pages tab, all of your pages will be displayed here. You can insert pages here by right-clicking and selecting Insert Pages. You can type the number of pages that you want to insert, and you can also select if they go before or after the current page that you're on, or at the start or end of the document. If you don't have the layers and links panels, you can come up to Window and select Links, and it will pop up. The Links panel shows you all of the images that you have currently linked on your document. It will also tell you a couple of different things, like what page it's on, the file size, and where it's located and the name of it. And if you want to find what image you're talking about, you can just double click on this number. This tells you what page it's on. If you double click on that, it selects the image so that you can easily modify it. In the Layers tab, this has everything that is on your document. So it has our BGSU logo right here, and if you wanted to see what the page looked like without it, you can tap this little eye and it makes it disappear. And all you have to do to get it to come back is click in that space again. But let's say that you want to move some stuff around, but you know for sure that you want this rectangle, this border, to stay where it's at. You can click in this square right here, and that will lock it in place. So now if you try to click on it or click and drag and move it, it won't let you move it. It is locked in place, and you can still move everything else around it. If you wanted to put this border over top of this image instead, you'll see that it is hidden behind the image. To change this, you'll click and drag to move the rectangle above the image. Or you can also go in and right click on the rectangle, hover over Arrange, and click Bring to Front to put it inside the image. And of course you can just click and drag these squares on the side to adjust the size of your rectangle around your image. If you wanted to find some different colors to use from inside this image without manually selecting them, you can come over to this color theme tool. And what this does is when you click on the image, it will give you a few different colors to use that all coordinate together. And you can also look through different themes. So there's bright, dark, deep, muted, and then the default one is colorful. So from here, you click whatever theme you want, and then you can click on different colors and click and drag over things to change the color of them. Like this with the little square is to change the stroke, so that is for the border. And then like I did with the text, all you have to do is hover over it and then click and drag over the text to change the color. Another tool is over here called the line tool. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a line, and it can be used for like page breaks or anything that you want. If you want to make sure that the line is straight, hold Shift while you are clicking and dragging it out. You can make it any length that you want. You can make it diagonal, horizontal, or vertical. And once you put it down and you come back over to the Properties panel, you will be able to make a thicker line or a thinner line. You can change the color of it. You can also change color over here. This little black box right here has the colors, or you can always grab a color from your color palette. And you can change the style of these just like you can with the borders. Another thing that you can do is to group multiple things together. So if you wanted to make sure that this border and this image stayed together, but you wanted to move it to a different page or a different spot on the page, all you have to do is click and drag to select both of them, right click, and then select group. And this will keep them together so that you can just move them around without having to make sure that both of them are selected. They're also in this group in the Layers panel, so you can see what all is included in that group. So you can also group these three, right click, group, and then you can swap their places or move them around any way that you want. To change the background of the document, you'll come over to the rectangle tool again, and you can just put the rectangle over the entire document. And over here, you'll turn the stroke off. So when you click on it, you click None. And then in the fill box, you'll choose whatever color you want. So now that you have your background color, just make sure that you have the rectangle selected, right click, Arrange, Send to Back. You can also just make sure that this rectangle layer, it generates up here. You'll want it to be underneath everything else, and then it'll be in the background. One more tool that InDesign has is to do a gradient. So over here is the gradient swatch tool. If you click on that, it'll create this little crosshair. And let's say we want this background to be a gradient. All we have to do is click and drag across it, and it creates a gradient. To change the gradient, you can come up to Window, and in color there is an option for gradient. So then you can come in and change your gradient. You can change if you want it to be half black, half white. You can also come in and change the style of it to radial so that it creates a circle, or keep it on linear, and you can reverse the colors as well. You can create new swatches in it by clicking and dragging down on the color bar, and then to get rid of them, you just drag them out of this box. To change the color of the gradient, select one of the boxes, come over here, double click, and then select your color and click OK. And then you can mess around with the different spaces and change it to how you want it. So once your document is complete, you'll want to come up to File and come down to Package. You'll click Package again, Save, and then save it onto your desktop or your flash drive and just name it whatever you want. Click Save, and then it's going to ask you to create a folder. So go ahead and you can leave the name that it generates or name it something different. You'll want to make sure that all of these are selected: copy fonts, copy linked graphics, update graphic links in package. You can click this one, you don't have to. Include fonts and links, include IDML, which is just an older version of the document if you want to open it up in an older version of InDesign. And then you'll have to make sure that include PDF is selected. You can put any of these that you want. I would suggest the high quality print. And so once all of that is done, you just click Package, OK, and it will package it all for you. So on the desktop, in the folder, there is the PDF, the InDesign file, and in the links is all of your images. In the fonts is the fonts that you used. So when you open up your document, everything should still be there. And then if you look at your PDF, this is what you would generally submit to your teachers, and you send this to the printer as well. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to the Collab Lab by emailing us or live chatting. We can do online tutoring through WebEx now, and we can help you out and make sure that you get your assignments done. So this is the InDesign tutorial for the Collab Lab.